Hi, I am Lisa Huff, one of the faculty librarians, and I'm going to talk today about Creative Commons, and we'll go over some of the things that you can do with Creative Commons, why you would want Creative Commons, and just some of the rules around it, kind of where it came from. So, what is Creative Commons? It is so many things. It's a nonprofit organization, but it's also a thing. It helps you make a product that can be accessed by the public domain for individuals, for educational institutions, and also other organizations around the world. It's very user-friendly, they say, and it's a standardized way for us to use grant permissions and to access other people's copyrighted works. Creative Commons has developed licenses that are legal tools. So we look at them like tools that creators and other rights holders can use to grant certain usage rights to the public while reserving other rights. Hello. Why use Creative Commons? Because I think this is always a good question. I really just have two main points under why use it. It provides an easy way to manage the copyright terms that are attached automatically to all creative material under copyright. So you've made something and you're just not sure what to do, whether you want to copyright it. If you go ahead and put a Creative Commons license on it, you are essentially, you can grab that handout if you want. You can sit at the other table. Essentially a good way for you to put something, to hold something so that someone else can't use it or can use it, but you don't have to worry so much about getting a copyright and that sort of thing. And then why use it? The licenses allow that material be shared and reused under terms that are flexible but legally sound. So kind of like I said, instead of worrying so much about copyright, this is a flexible way to do it, a little easier, a little more simple than going out to the Copyright Office and doing all this work, but yet it does keep it legally sound if it does have the Creative Commons license attached to it. These are all the licenses. You do have it on the paper in front of you in a little easier way to see it. You have CC BY SA. I won't go through and necessarily explain every one of these. CC BY NC. And you can see, we'll look at the next page after this one. CC BY NCSA, BY ND, NCND, and then the wide open public domain one. What you have there shows sort of how it works. This is your most open, the public domain dedication. It's considered a dedication to the public domain, and thus the creator associated with the item has waived all the rights to the work worldwide under copyright law. Very open, very general. Anyone can see that and use it. The next one is the attribution. So others can copy, distribute, display, perform, and remix the work if they credit and cite the creator or the author. Simple, but the person still gets attribution for what they did. Then you have derivative works, and we'll talk a little bit about derivative works. I have a slide that explains that a little bit. Others can only copy, distribute, display, or perform verbatim copies of that work. No modifications are allowed with the work. Share alike is others can distribute the work only under a license identical to the one attached to the original work. And then non-commercial use, you need to decide whether you want your work to be available for someone to use it commercially or non-commercially. Most things we would do here at Triton, I would say, are non-commercial. There's not much of a reason that we would probably want things that we create to be available commercially. And then you can see when we use the tool to create the licenses, these are the options that can sort of be put together in other terms. And we'll look at that a little bit when we use the creator tool. So this is a nice tool to have, this paper. It's easy, simple way of looking at it. And you see this a lot. This is out there when you go on a lot of the sites. Again, most open to least open. And you can see that they've actually put their own works, these works, under a CC public domain dedication. It is open for everyone to use and look at. Just some basic information, over 2.5 billion, and this is actually a little bit old, so probably way more, Creative Commons licensed works exist across millions of websites. The majority are hosted on content platforms that provide Creative Commons license options for their users. Platforms that support Creative Commons licenses make it easy for users to discover and collaborate on images, video, music, research, educational text, podcasts, all kinds of things. And I'm sure there's things there that they haven't even listed. I know I said podcasts. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and they gave Creative Commons credit. So I was really impressed, and I have that podcast if we want to listen really quick to it. This page highlights some of the best known platforms for sharing Creative Commons content. This content is searchable and shareable across the web thanks to Creative Commons licenses. Let's see, hopefully this will cooperate. So this is just some basic information, and this does show some of the sites that you can go to that do offer Creative Commons. And we will go to another page. Okay, examples of derivative works. Just so you know what derivative works are, because we will need this when we use the tool. Derivative work can be a movie that's based on a novel. So they took the movie, they made the movie, but they based it on a novel that already existed. It can be a translation of a foreign language book, a musical arrangement of a song, a toy based on a character from a cartoon. So Woody is a really good example. They made a Woody toy, but they based that Woody toy on that cartoon that had already been created. A new version of a computer program. So that's an interesting one. And then a dramatization or a fictionalization of an existing story. And again, we'll talk a little bit about derivative works. We most likely won't have derivative works. Some tips about choosing a license. The 6 licenses and the public domain dedication tool give creators a range of options. The best way to decide which is appropriate for you is to think about why you want to share your work. So why do you want people to be able to see your work? And how do you hope others will use your work? The licenses and the CCO, the public domain tool, cannot be revoked. So once that you've decided on that tool, you can't change it. I'm going to show you a couple that I did when I was first learning that I probably wish that I'd done differently. But I supposedly cannot change that. And then you must own or control copyright in the work. It does give you hold copyright once that you've made that decision. So we're going to try the CC license tool chooser. Okay, I'm going to sit just for a second because I will need to do this. Let's look at something I created. Okay, I created this. I'm going to make this a little bit larger. I created this on copyright law. It was an assignment. Let's see if I can go. There we go. It was called copyright law. Just basic copyright law was the name. And first I had the purpose of copyright. Then I explained, what can be copywritten? Can there be intellectual property? Talked about the public domain. And then I needed to decide what I was going to choose. And here you can see, I'm going to make this larger so that you can see, very small. At the bottom, I gave it Copyright Law 2025 by Lisa Huff is licensed under CC by 4.0. Very basic. I probably would have done something a little more, a little different, but possibly not. So let's look at the tool. And I think I pulled up the chooser already. Here it is. Okay, so this is the chooser. I have this marked as a favorite in my laptop and on my computer in my office because it was something I used quite a bit when I was working with this course. So first to ask you if you know which license you need. I did not know which license I needed. I think it's smart to always put no. If you say yes, right here, you're going to choose your license. So maybe someone pretty experienced in this would already know which license they wanted. So instead, we'll say no. Attribution. So what do you think attribution would be?
Okay, so we start with attribution, and it says others can copy and distribute and display and perform it as however they want to.
So I probably want to give myself attribution. So there's a couple of things. If I say no, I'm pretty much done. Right away, I've waived my copyright, and I've read and understand the terms. I list the title of my work, the creator of my work, which is me. If I have a link to the work, I list the link. If I don't, because it is like a photo, I don't have to. But right away, I will just get CC public domain. Sorry. So I said attribution. So that means anyone and everyone can use this. And maybe you want that. Maybe you want to just be give general use. So that would be attribution, no. Okay, if I want attribution and I do want to give that to myself, I say yes. Commercial use, no. I don't think I want, anyone commercially to use it. I guess maybe do we care if anyone commercially uses something we've created for a class? I don't know. Dolce, if you had something you created, would you care if it had commercial use?
I think it would depend on what was created.
Uh-huh.
I was just gonna say too, think about if you created something that was teaching
Yeah.
a concept, and then a YouTube creator is like, oh, this is really cool what you created, and I'm sharing this with you, and they give you credit, but knowing that the more views they get paid for those views, and even though they're giving you credit, then
I still get nothing,
right.
but they get yes.
Yeah, good point, Shakina. In today's day and age, yeah, you really have to think more that way.
Right.
Yeah, I hadn't thought a lot about that. So I probably would say no in most instances, unless I had some sort of a deal going with someone of it. But working for school, I'm not sure we can do that.
Yeah, there's some board policies that are talk about it in some kind of way. So like when you create something, portions of it remain yours, and portions of it become part of you.
So I think as long as we're doing something within Chardon's walls, it's probably always no. Okay, so derivative works. This is not a derivative work. I don't think there's much of anything I would be doing that would be a derivative work here at school anyway. Because remember, we talked about those derivative works. Oh, it's in my hand. Thank you. It's not a movie based on a novel, a translation, a musical arrangement, you know, a toy that I created, anything like that. There we go. So I own and have authority to license the work. I can say yes on this one, probably. Again, back to whether we need to do anything or find anything out as far as Triton's rules on this. I believe I said I owned it in most situations. I have read and understand the terms of the license. I understand that CC licensing is not revocable, because you do have to say that. And then I'm going to go ahead and title this. I really don't want to fully create another one because it does already have one. But I'll go ahead and say just copyright. I'm just going to call it copy, Lisa H. And then it doesn't have a link per se, but I will do your creation, year 2025. And then you don't have to hit enter or anything. It just gives it to you right here. So it created a CC by NCND 4.0. Again, different than what I gave it when I first did this. I was just learning. So again, I did it a little bit differently than I would have done it. So that kind of gives you an idea of how that tool works. It is nice. It's there for you. It's sort of like us teaching our students about how to create a citation in our databases instead of having to do it the hard old way that we had to do it, 10, 20 years ago. They've got a really nice tool that they can create a citation. This is a really nice way to create your Creative Commons choice. And right there you have it. You can copy it. It will come out with the blue on it, so you can recopy it, or you can just write that down and then put that in your document. You can just copy that and paste it right into your document. What a lot of people do is they choose to save all of these marks, and then they'll just reattach those pieces next to it. Or some people just simply put the CC by NC and D 4.0 on their document. And that means you have given it a Creative Commons license. And then you can look at the license deed. It tells you exactly you are free to share it. And then it's under these terms. And it gives you, again, just a rundown of what you chose. Any questions about that? Joe, does that come back to you?
Yes, I honestly never really knew about this, so.
About the tool?
Yeah, I knew about thinking about it in terms of seeing it on other material, but I never thought about creating a license for my own material. So this is really cool.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's kind of fun.
Can I ask a question about that? I have a series of lecture videos that I made for my online classes, and and about half of them I just put on YouTube, and I never did anything with licensing. They're just on YouTube. So what happens there?
Probably go ahead and put license on those. Yeah.
Okay.
You could maybe pull them off, because I guess I'm wondering if they would stay, the old ones without the Creative Commons license would stay on there.
Right. Oh, okay.
I'm thinking you might have to pull those off, put the license on them, and then put them back on.
Okay. That makes sense.
And yeah, and their site is so good now. They may even have an answer to that on the page. They've really done a good job. This is creativecommons.org is the main page. They've got a lot of excellent things. Who we are, what we do, licenses and tools is where you'll find the majority of that information. They've got a really good blog and just some excellent information that you can go to.
Awesome. I'll look into it, but this is really helpful. Thank you.
On their page. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. Look, guys, I lost my. I want to show you guys a few other things, and we can definitely come back to the license chooser if we want. Some references. Okay, so there's some great tools that go along with Creative Commons. This is some good information about derivative works, just if you ever wanted to read any more about derivative works. And it is, I can definitely send it out to folks. It is in the United States Copyright Office, sort of a little newsletter that they do. All right, so the Creative Commons search portal is a really good place to go. The main question that a lot of people have is, okay, I've been creating things forever and I've been pulling pictures from the internet. Is that illegal? Am I going to get in trouble? No one is probably going to come and arrest you for doing that because no one's going to know and they have a lot of other things to worry about. But going on from the future, in the future, it might be a really good idea to simply put this on your computer, this page. It is on creativecommons.org, and it's just called their search portal. I'm wondering why it doesn't. Oh, it's just search.creativecommons.org. Sorry, I didn't see the search up there. This is a great place to find music, media, images, 3D models, and I thought the 3D models were pretty cool. Whatever it is you need, you can simply search. So if I need a model, not a beautiful person. Oh, it did go to that, and that's not what I wanted. That's so funny. I think it's because I said it. Oh, I know why. I didn't put 3D models. Here are 3D models, but let's go back to, that's funny. It's not what I was thinking.
But at least it showed you.
But there are
Oh,
pictures of models if you need them. Okay, so here are images of the models I was thinking. Say you need these for a science-related class. There are actually other models you can see, robotic-style models, something kind of odd that you wouldn't really think about. I was curious about music. So I put in music, and I got photos of music. But we can also listen to different types of music in open verse. So this takes us to a specific site that offers Creative Commons open public domain music. Was loud. Yeah.
Casey needs some anxiety.
Right. Yeah, that was not the music I was looking for. Images, I would say, are the main thing that people are, most interested in. And it shows you some of the different. Pixar is a really popular place. This is weird. It's not my computer, and it's. Usually it would just take us to, but maybe we'll just choose, there we go, we got Vimeo. So Vimeo is a really popular place to find images that you can use. Anything you would like, you really can find photos of. It's excellent for classes. So let's say you are in chemistry and you want a photo of test tubes. I don't know, just... So you're going to get a lot of interesting things that you may have to weed through a little bit, and you can. You've got all these filters over here that you can definitely use. Does anybody have photos of anything that they would sometimes use for a creation? That you found, you're like, oh no, I've used a photo online before that I just pulled off. Any ideas?
Maybe just to make the like my anatomy like introductory slide creative, just a picture of maybe like the heart.
Okay.
Or a 3D model of the heart or something like that.
Okay. Here's the kind of odd ones. Yeah, we're getting
Maybe type
oh,
heart
no,
anatomy.
we're getting videos. That's why. Yeah, it's doing a really weird. Usually Vimeo would just be. Vimeo.com. Let's see. Okay, let's do Pixar. Not Pixar, sorry.
Maybe put in that search heart.
Yeah.
And what did you say, anatomy?
Yeah, heart anatomy.
There we go. We're not getting a real creative picture, but we are getting, a photo with, you can kind of see some options. Oh, that's kind of cool.
And then, of course, it don't have to be set to, you could set the categories for education.
Educational.
Yeah, definitely. That's real exciting. You know what? Let's go to Flickr. And you can see Flickr's an option. There are a lot of different things, and it does take some time to go through some of this. Let's see. Oh, cool. So you can kind of see some different options. You can hide ads, obviously, if you do an upgrade with them. So you can kind of go through here, and hunt. You could probably hunt for a long time.
Yeah.
And go down a rabbit hole of hunting for different photos. There are some really cool things. Some of them will make you join and get their emails. So, but there are some really neat options. Flickr was one that I put. There we go. Yeah. And so you can see Creative Commons is a nonprofit that offers an alternative to full copyright. So they're advertising for Creative Commons because obviously these are photos that you're able to use. So here's one, people have actually done artistic ones that they've given Creative Commons license to. They've done drawings, their photos. Again, they want you to sign up for free, upgrade. I do have a sign in, but we don't necessarily need to. Google even participates. Probably not the best idea because you would be going open, to opening yourself up to a lot of different things. There is Jamendo. I've looked at that before. They do have some pretty cool music on there. YouTube offers some things. You've got Thingiverse that has 3D models. Not sure why those are opening. But let's look at Thingiverse real quick, and then I want to have you guys listen. So you can see Thingiverse does have digital designs. I could see a lot of our programs, our HVAC, our auto guys being able to use a lot of really interesting things on here. I mean, you've got kind of everything around the, globe that you can use possibly. You've got the little turtle guy. So a lot of different options. So that page is also definitely an option that you would want to consider. Again, that's just right in the Creative Commons search portal. And then in general, if you want to get a lot of good basic information on Creative Commons and open educational resources, we do have the OER Starter Kit out on our page, on our LibGuide. And the OER Starter Kit does get quite a bit into Creative Commons also. Again, that is on our LibGuide on the library website, and I can always show you where that's at. It is a nice size book, a lot of really good information that's run by Iowa State University, and they do keep that updated. I do want you guys to listen to the podcast, actually. I'll pull that up for you. To make sure I can find it again. I had it waiting right here, and of course, they don't ever make it that easy. Okay, this one. I knew I would think of it. And it's interesting because I haven't heard many podcasts doing this, and I'm very surprised because there are so many podcasts out there that they don't do more of this.
And this is Plays Well with Others. That's Teresa Nobre. Nobre, part of CC Porpoise, a little different than it did in our first episode. That's because Graydon is adding new elements to the track each time we use it here. More on that in a future episode. This episode contains additional music by Blue Dot Sessions, which is available under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial license at the Free Music Archive. We also use sound effects from Free Sound. You can find links to those tracks, as well as more information about our show, at playswellwithothers.org. This series is supported by Creative Commons. We make the free CC licenses that anyone can use to share content and knowledge under simple, permissive terms, including the ones that power Wikipedia's shared content. Each time someone shares their work, they invite asynchronous collaboration with the world. I'm at Ryan Merkley on Twitter, and our show is at PlaysWellPod. We'll be back in about a month with another episode, so make sure to subscribe to our show on whatever podcast app is bringing.
So they're actually run by Creative Commons, and they were giving the music credit because they did take that music from someone else. So that's interesting. So I am more surprised that podcasts aren't doing that a little bit. At the front, you might hear our music was created by da da da, and it doesn't appear to have any licensing. Now, could it have copyright? It might. But this would have been such an easier way to do it, to give it a Creative Commons license. I just don't think it's known really well by a lot of people. Yeah. So if you hear a podcast that has it, tell me. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, because that's interesting. You don't normally hear them, or even explain where they got it from, or.
And I listen to a lot of book and library associated podcasts, and that's why I'm starting to hear it, I think, a little bit more. That's the second time I've heard it, just in a month maybe. So, any questions about kind of where to find some of those pictures and things? Honestly, it is really easy. If you simply Google where can I find Creative Commons licensed photos, or just licensed photos, licensed clip art, you'll find a million different, and a lot of times it is library LibGuides that offer the information. Yeah, university and college libraries that offer the information out to folks, or it will give you the Creative Commons website, possibly too. Yeah. And if you ever want to put a license on something and need help, definitely let me know. Yeah, I'm happy to work with you on that if that's something you're interested in. Joe, any questions? No, you're probably doing a lot of other things. She can't have any questions. I keep learning new things every day. Like I said, I did the 11-week course with Creative Commons, and it was hard. It was a lot. I know I created this tool, and I have not put a license on it yet, and so I need to think about that. Shakina has seen this, and I need to probably review it. I created this for a nursing school orientation, and I hope there was similar at the top, but maybe not. And it just says, I'm a new student at the library. Where do I go? Did you know you can access the library and all of its resources online? And it was to hand out at an orientation so that the new nursing students had a little bit of an idea about where to come, what they might need from us, our hours. I'm happy to do this for other areas if you ever need something like that. I came and talked to them really quick, maybe just 5 minutes, and then I handed these out. And they seemed really happy to get that. They have my name, my contact if they need anything, and then some books, their study books that they might need later on in the semester. Goes down. It does offer a couple of the databases we have that are really helpful to them in case that they don't make it over. And it talks about using their Triton email password to log in and access the things that they might need. I have not put a license on that. I probably should have created it. But actually, Dorothy in public relations did end up helping me do that. So I'm not sure how that would work.
Well, I think that something, whatever marketing does for college is probably got some kind of
They probably do. Yeah, because I ended up passing it on to her, and she kind of made it fit how she wanted. So. So anyway, things like that you create, Joe, that was a great question Joe had about the videos he put out there. I think, you definitely could pull those off, put a new license on them, and put them back out there if you did that on your own. And that's a good point. Do you guys in your department create all of your own things? Do you use textbooks? Yeah, you do have textbook.
I know that there are some instructors using or trying to create their own lab manuals and things like that.
Great.
Using the like open resources, however, like it's still a working process, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Great. Yeah, and I'm happy to help with that too. Yeah. Great. Well, I know that's a lot of information right at once. So let me know if you have questions. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. It was a wonderful crowd today.